Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Shai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors and salutations to the elders, apostles of Grammar Hakim Akwat, throughout the four corners of the earth, holding on in sincerity and truth and diligence of mind to this gospel of the Lord, Amashak Shai. This is Brother Menashe DC Camp, short lesson for the hopeful elect year. So this is just another observation from the scriptures concerning how the Lord has set things up to express his image upon the face of the earth, all right, to express his thoughts. And hey, the Lord always reveals his secrets every single day. You know, the mysteries of the scriptures are always being revealed through his son, you know, the Spirit of the Lord, the Mashiach, Yahushai, all right? And that's why we always got to give thanks. Yeah, so the greatest story ever told, all right? So this is from the book of Genesis chapter 3. I'm going to start from verse 17, all right? So this is how, you know, the Lord had to set the course for the redemption of our people. All right, this is how the Lord, you know, how to set the Lord Amashak Yahushai on the proper parts. Salakia, give me 1 second. Yeah, Salakia, I can. Yeah, this is just one of the parts of the story you can't ever ignore, man. You know, things always happen. It's in the Lord's hands. So, yeah, this is how the Lord Amashak Yahushai, you know, began his journey. His journey as Adam, all right, upon the face of the earth. Okay, so Genesis 3:17, and unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree which I have commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake, in sorrow thou shalt eat of it all the days of thy life. So the earth become jacked up, all right? The earth became jacked up because of a clear violation, you know, sin, you know, because know how the Lord was pissed off, you know, that he didn't get a harsher judgment. But hey, that's how the Lord sets the stories up, you know. He had mercy, you know, by keeping our forefather Adam alive so that the story can continue on the path that the Lord has set it on, okay? And then it said in verse 18, thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. Yeah, so hey, that's when he started having all these pests, man, all these strange strange plants, you know, always jacking up the harvests and all that stuff, weeds and all that, you know, just like you know, the parable of the sower, you know, the turns and all that stuff. Yeah, so verse 19 now says, in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return unto the ground. Yeah, so now man got to struggle, you know, man got to struggle to make a living. Because back then, you know, the earth was fruitful in abundance, you know, everything that you needed. And hey, the Lord adjusted the vibration of the earth to make the people now have to suffer for what they have to harvest, you know. Yep. And then it says, for out of it was thou taken, for For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. Yeah, so that's how the Lord, expressed the judgment, unto our forefather Adam. And then what happened next? You go to Genesis chapter 10. It was just the beginning of the chaos upon the face of the earth. All right, Genesis chapter 10. So this was after the flood. All right, this is after the flood. Genesis chapter 10, 24 to 25. And Arphaxad begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Yep, so that's how the Lord set the stage, for things to be readjusted back to its proper state. All right, this is exactly what the Lord did. All right, the Lord had to, separate the landmass, because folks always talk about the Pangaea, how the earth fits perfectly into one jigsaw puzzle, and then you see the evidence. So now you understand how the Lord set the stage, and then from there you go to Isaiah chapter 22, then read verse 18. Yeah, so this is exactly what happened to us. Just to fast forward into the future concerning our people, the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans. He will surely toss, he will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country. There shalt thou die, and there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of thy Lord's house. So this is how the Lord was setting up the stage for us to come over here to the Western Hemisphere and to complete another part of the puzzle, So the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai knows, or he knew that we're going to be in this part of the world. And that's why he told the disciples that these things were going to happen. All right, he brought it back to remembrance. So, extra scripture, Isaiah chapter 10. All right, so that's our captivity noted in that precept there. Okay, so the northern kingdom got, smacked over to this side, and then let's see. You know what? Let me get back. Let's go to Second Esdras, man. It's all clear. Second Esdras chapter 13. I'll just skip over. All right. I'll read from verse 39 to 46. All right. So, and whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him. So this is like the conclusion of our salvation. All right. The Hawashaya taking care of business. And then it says that those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osir the king, whom Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive, and they carried them over the waters. So came they into another land. All right. So that there shows you how the Lord was setting the stage. See, being carried over the waters into another land. All right. And then verse 41 says, but they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river, for the Most High shewed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely 1.5 years, and the same region is called Azareth. All right, so remember that this is how the Lord was setting the stage, way back, way back then, on the time of Genesis, because the Lord was already, the one that set the show in motion. All right, so that's how you see how the puzzles, fit in. The Lord set the stage, and then you have our people moving to one part of the world because of some events that the Lord said that was going to happen. All right, because of prophecy. Okay, so I'm going to go to let's see. Let's check out Isaiah chapter 11. And then let's look at verse 10. All right, so this is how the Lord was setting up the stage. So it says in verse 10, Isaiah 11 and 10, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand up for an ensign of the people. To each shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. So this is what the Lord has set in motion for us to partake of. All right. So this is not just a one-man journey for Lord Hamashiach Yahushai. We're all part of it. Okay. So that's the reason why the Lord Yahushai was given apostles, was given disciples, was given the elect and one third. All right, and the multitude to be on this journey, to follow along with the true gospel. Okay, and then let's go to all right. So I'm going to read from the book of Joel. Joel chapter 2. Let's see what's in verse 25. All right. It says this, and I will restore unto you the years that the locust has eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great enemy, which I sent among you. All right. 26 says, and ye shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Lord your power, that hath dealt wonderfully, that hath dealt wondrously with you, and my people shall never be ashamed. So this just the puzzles, man. It just fits together. All right. So hey, there's more precepts, but I'm just pressed for time, like the Apostle Ramlab always say. Yeah. So go to Jeremiah. Let's see what's in Jeremiah chapter 12, verses 6. All right, let's see. 6 to 9. Let's see. For even thy brethren and the house of thy father, even they have dealt treacherously with thee. Yeah, they have called a multitude after thee. Believe them not, though they speak fair words unto thee. So these types of attitude among our people, the Lord has to eradicate. Always trying to deceive with their speech, but their action is detrimental to the prophets. All right, that's why they're scoffers, man. They're just a thorn in our flesh. All right. And then verse 7 says, I have forsaken mine house, I have left mine heritage, I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies. All right. So this is just for correction. And then verse 9 says, mine heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It cried out against me, therefore have I hated it. All right. And then it goes along in verse 9 saying, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. So that's how the Lord had to check us. You know, the Lord made us a laughing stock of the whole nation, a proverb and a byword. You know, the Most High brought judgments upon us. So that's the reason why we got kicked, you know, out of Holy Land, the land of Israel. And then we got spread out throughout the four corners of the earth, okay? And this is exactly why you have to understand how the puzzle fits together, man. You know, all because of the sin of our forefather Adam. You know, we became susceptible to our weakness. We became slaves to the flesh. We became slaves to sin. All right. So now you go to the book of Matthew. It's how Yahweh Shai, you know, began to partake of that, how you say it, how to take action in redeeming, you know, the world, okay, our people, including the actions, you know, the mistakes he made in the past. So Matthew chapter 4, verse 8 says, and the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and sheweth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and said unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then saith Yahushua unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy power, and him only thou shalt serve. So that's exactly what our Lord Hamashiach Yahushua had to remind the devil of, okay? And that is something that Adam, you know, could not complete. You know, just one single act of idolatry. He became, his own worst enemy. You know, that's how the world began to become unstable. You know, because once he was convicted, you know, by the words of the Lord, by the judgments of the Lord, what happened? Cain killed Abel. He murdered Abel, you know. So you can imagine how sad, how heartbroken Adam must have been to understand why, you know, those things happen. You can imagine the pain, the agony, the sorrow, you know, the depression. You know, it's just one of those things, man. You know, you give birth to two sons, one kills, one murders the other. You know, it becomes a shame to the people around. Like, this guy, we thought this man was the, you know, the top-notch guy, but look at his family. It's not even, he doesn't even have it together anymore, you know? His wife is all jacked up, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, so that's one thing you have to acknowledge, man. You know, because Adam and Eve were not the only ones on the face of the earth at that time. So you can imagine how people were, you know, looking at like, God damn, so this is the guy, you know, his son, his son that used to have a dark skin complexion, you know, Cain, now all of a sudden It looks like what is called, it's all lepers, like goddamn, so it's like that's like a double whammy. One son murders the other son, and then the guilty one becomes a laughing stock, you know. So what's that's extra headache. That's an extra headache that Adam had to deal with, So basically lost. He lost two sons, you know. So that's the price, our forefather Adam had to pay. All right. So yeah, I just get one more precept, and let's read from the book of Romans, because I'm like to split this lesson into two parts, so I don't cause this phone to have a little glitch. So the book of Romans says this: Romans chapter 5, from verse 12. All right, so it says, "Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, so death passed upon all men, for all have sinned." All right. Now, if you read verse 13, it says, For until the law's sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no law. Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over them that had not sinned, after the similitude of Adam's transgression, who is the figure of him that was to come. So, Adam was the physical representation of Yahweh Shai from the beginning. All right. So, how would I put that? He was the weaker version of the Lord Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. He was a susceptible version. He was easily corrupted just because he hearkened unto his wife's, emotional weakness. All right. And then verse 15 says, "But not as the offense, so also is the free gift. So if through the offense of one many be dead, much more the grace of Yahweh, Ba'ashem El-Shai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, and the grace and the gift by grace, which is by one man, Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, hath abounded unto many." All right. So that's how the Lord set it up. Okay. Grace, favor. All right. So that means the judgment of death was going to be undone by the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai, by him going on that cross, so our people can be purged from their iniquities. Yahushua became that sacrificial lamb for the whole nation. All right. And by him doing that, that also trickled down to what the Syrophoenician woman, what she said about the crumbs falling off the tables, that the heathen, even the dogs eat the crumbs of the master's table. So that means the earth will have to fall in line, They have to fall in line with what the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai has dictated upon the face of the earth. So that means the earth is going to return to its stable form. All right? The earth will return to the level of perfection that the Lord has always wanted it to be. All right? Eden again. All right? Paradise. So the world now is in a mess. It's on a messy path. All right? But the Lord has to let the conclusion be paradise. All right? So that's what we're looking forward to. Okay? And then let me get one more precept. This is from the book of 1 Corinthians. chapter 15. Let's see what verse 21 is saying. All right, so it says, for since by man came death, or that's Adam, by a man came also the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all die, even so in Hamashiach Yahushai shall all be made alive. So imagine that, So Yahushua is basically Adam coming back to right the wrongs that he made. That's what it is, So our people going off is basically a representation of Adam going off. It trickled down. Even though we're still the chosen people, we still had to fulfill, the weakness of Adam, sin. Okay, because the law was still in effect during the time of Adam. All right. So that's by that simple act of idolatry, Adam got messed up. Okay, our whole nation got messed up. And what do you think the Lord had to do? The Lord had to send forth the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai through the line of King David to get things back in order, So the Lord allowed these things to take place, and he's on the correction now, man. He's putting the path of correction before us to go through, the straight gate. Adam could not go through the straight gate. All right, he couldn't go through the straight gate, so he had to come back as the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai, and hey, he did a perfect job. He did the perfect job. So once he was able to go through that straight gate, hey, he fulfilled his lot as the Lamb that taketh away the sin of our whole nation, nation of Israel. So that's exactly what we're happy, to have, man. We have an intercessor. Okay. So let me just move on further up. Read verse 45 to verse 47. It says, and so it is written, the first Adam was made a living soul, and Adam was made a quickening spirit. Okay. Why? Because he was given the words of life. He was given the instruction. Okay. But then he couldn't hold on to it because why? He was in that weak flesh. His mindset wasn't perfected yet. Okay. And then verse 46 says, howbeit that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterward that which is spiritual. So that's all it is. The flesh couldn't handle, the narrow path, couldn't handle the obedience to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. But the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua in the spirit, he had rule over his flesh by his spirit. And that's how he was able to keep the law and explain to the people that he is the Lord of the Sabbath. So Yahushua is basically the law. Okay? So he is above the law. Therefore, he kept the law perfectly. He explained to the people why the law was given. All right? So that the flesh can be governed, can be put on that straight path. But the flesh, was being stubborn, That's why you have the parable of the sower. You have the parable of the talents, and all that. So that's just this part, this is just part one. Abaratazar, I'll record the part two in a few, and just gotta thank the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, by Shema Kadash, for showing us these things, man. Because hey, we're almost out of here, man. Knowledge shall increase, and hey, you just gotta be grateful, man. That's all I can say. Shalom.